Hi everybody! I have a cat that doesn't want to stay. Okay, fine. Go away, kitty. Anyway, today is the first ever Reconstruction Q&A. Yay! So I actually had a really good turnout as far as questions were concerned, mainly because a lot of people asked like two-part questions or really in-depth questions. So I didn't actually need all that many to fill the time. So for those of you that participated, props, you guys are the best, and I'm going to be reading off your questions. And for those of you that didn't, you'll see how this works, and hopefully I will get your questions for the next Q&A. Anyway, I have here the magical notebook that has all the questions in it, and I will start. Question number 1. Which Hogwarts houses would Team Benjamin be in, and what would their favorite classes be? So, Isaac is a Gryffindor. Hardcore Gryffindor. And his favorite class would definitely be Defense Against the Dark Arts. Solomon would also be a Gryffindor, but for slightly better reasons than Isaac. And his favorite class would undoubtedly be flying. Caroline is a Slytherclaw. However, she would choose to be a Ravenclaw, and her favorite class would definitely be Transfiguration. Tabby is a Hufflepuff. She's a puff. And her favorite class would be Herbology, obviously. Di is also a Ravenclaw, and his favorite class would be Charms. And Cassie is a Slytherin, and her favorite class would be Potions. And Elijah is a Grifflepuff. However, he would choose Gryffindor, and his favorite class would probably be the Care of Magical Creatures, because he's a giant nerd. And last but not least, although he hasn't shown up yet, I wanted to do him anyway, Harvey Benjamin is a hardcore Slytherin, and his favorite class would be Ancient Runes, and you will hopefully see why in the chapter after this. And question number 2. If you could take 2 characters out to lunch, who would you take, where would you go, and what would you talk about? I would take Solomon and Tabby. We would get burgers, and we would make fun of / gossip about everybody we know and have a really good time. The next question is, do you use an outline? How close do you stick to said outline if you use one? Yeah, I outline. I obsessively outline. And I try to stick to it, and I usually do for the big events, but the smaller plot lines, no. Next question is, what is the wildest volta punky thing you've thought of, or one you didn't use because it was way too out there? I can't actually answer that question because the answer is a spoiler. It's a huge spoiler. So, I can't tell you. I'm sorry. The next question is, other than the Reconstruction era, are there any others that draw you to their period for stories? I had a big list and I narrowed it down to 3. And they are the Korean Joseon era, which is the 1400s to the turn of the century. Revolution era France. And Shogunate and Meiji era Japan. Next question is a fancast question. Who would you pick to play the main cast in a film or TV series? So Isaac is Eddie Redmayne. Solomon is Dio Okaniyi, because he's adorable and has fantastic dimples and is the right age. Caroline would be Willa Holland. And Cassie, I would probably get Amanda Seyfried for her, because coloring, and also she can be really sharp and snappy and great. She'd be awesome. Sadly, this is everybody that I could find decent actors for, because there is a horrible, severe shortage of Native American and really young Asian actors, so I couldn't really find anyone that I would want to cast for Tabby and Di. Which character has surprised you the most when you started developing them, or when they started developing in the story? Pastor Levi, actually. has surprised me the most. He was supposed to be like this really tiny, kind of throwaway character that was only supposed to show up really briefly. But then he ended up becoming this really, really important figure to Isaac and the bearer of the theme, essentially. And his role is actually going to expand a lot in Arc 2, so be on the lookout for him because he's actually super important now. Will we ever get any details of Dai's history? Maybe. Maybe not. Then, did Mexico and or Canada also have the same technology as the US? And yes, they do, actually. However, they modify it quite a bit since they have fairly different terrains and temperatures than the New Union. So Canada has like logging walkers, which are these beasts of machines that are designed to carry giant trees and basically have built-in chainsaws. You don't want to mess with a Canadian logging walker. And then down in Mexico, they have much smaller, more agile machines designed to handle the extreme temperatures and the jungle and very different, like, wide mix of terrains in Mexico. And then, what were the political scandals of Grant's presidency and how did they affect the nation? The biggest scandal that President Grant has had to deal with in Voltapunk USA history is what they like to call the Spencer debacle, which put the most unscrupulous railroad baron out into the light, and everyone knew that Grant asked Spencer to fund the railroads. And when the trafficking and debt were discovered, a lot of people started talking. And then, once Harrison surfaces, he becomes very, very determined to keep that from getting out because the public's opinion of him is not very good right now. And then, last but definitely not least, which US president would you like to punch in the face? Andrew Jackson. Anyway, that is the end of the Q&A. It was super fun, and I'm really excited for the chance to do another one later. So keep your eyes out because that will probably happen within the next few months. And also, just some housekeeping things. I'm sorry that this chapter and vlog were a little bit late, but I have been job interviewing in Chicago and preparing to move. So my posting schedule for the next few weeks might get really wonky. So that's just a heads up. Anyway, thank you so much for sending me questions and tuning into this vlog. Don't forget to like and favorite this video and subscribe for more Q&As and the next round of history vlogs. And don't forget to leave this chapter a plus vote. I am so close to breaking 1,000 right now that I can almost taste it. So please, let's make that happen. And the song of the day is Jetpack Blues by Fall Out Boy. Just listen to it, you'll understand why. Anyway, that is all for today, and I hope you guys enjoyed the chapter.